Hi, Greg. Just your thoughts on today's match?
A lot of chances gone missing. A lot of adversity inside of it. I felt like, again, the goals we give up are, look, they're good actions by them, but we kind of just get pulled apart. We lose track of guys running off of us. We lose a ball in the midfield when we're trying to slide it into midfield. But I thought, look, by and large, I thought we did a very good job of pulling them apart, playing through them, getting ourselves into some really dangerous situations. And it comes down to executing in the moments. And obviously, it's difficult, more difficult when you go down a man. But I still felt like even when we went down a man, the guys were just fighting and battling and doing the things that they needed to do, try to get themselves back into the game. I felt like we were gassing, especially in the midfield. Eddie and Diego were just having to cover so much ground and do so much work there at the end. So we just tried to get on a couple fresh bodies, and then we take a third, and we managed to get one back. But I was super proud of the guys' effort and the work, and I thought by and large we played some pretty good stuff, but we get ourselves behind 2 goals, and that makes it difficult, to claw back. And then we lose a guy earlier in the second half, and that makes it more difficult. So, but I'm really proud of the effort. I wish we would have made some better decisions in some of the final actions. I felt like we settled for some shots where maybe one more pass would have really given us a better chance or a better look. And then I think sometimes when we lined up some shots, we didn't put them away.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you about, Joe gets the goal. He's kind of playing as the 9. Kind of what did you like from him there? And also, too, maybe the whistles he wasn't getting at times as well. Just what did you think from his performance? And I guess as well, kind of, it felt like maybe at the end he was kind of playing with anger in a way with the lack of the whistles. Did you see that, too?
Yeah, I think we went with Joe as the 9 because we felt like they would try to overpress us. They would try to leave him one-on-one at the top, and we felt like good luck with that. And he was in, he was in quite a bit. He was in some good positions. He was able to track some things down. I think, got him into some dangerous positions, and he was able to get us into some dangerous positions. So that was one of the reasons for putting him at the 9. I felt like, I think he gets frustrated because I think he doesn't feel like he gets some calls that maybe he should get. I think, unfortunately, what ends up happening is you get a reputation that's hard to shake sometimes, and I think that becomes the difference in some of these situations, really, in my opinion.
And then the one call that you guys didn't get when he was on a 1v1, sort of looked like he got pulled down there. How did you see that play develop?
Yeah, again, from where I look, there was a lot of, Hagelin was using a lot of arms and a lot of different things to try to keep him from running away. So multiple times where he's just trying to grab at him and get any sort of piece to slow Joe down. And then there was one where just kind of last minute he kind of does both hands on both shoulders, and certainly looked from where I was like, he impedes Joe's ability to keep going in on goal, and obviously Joe goes down. So I haven't seen it close enough, but I felt like Joe was in. So if he doesn't get a lot of them, I'd like to see Joe keep going. But if he does pull him back, then it makes a lot of sense that he goes down.
And, we've seen Harbor and Rindolph get more time lately, but against a team like this, what do you think this does for their development? Playing a different team, different style. How do you think they handled tonight?
Yeah, it was. I mean, for Chris specifically, just playing against 2 forwards is very different. I mean, a lot of these games before, it's been 1 forward and they're rotating through it. And tonight, it's just playing against 2 forwards who are power, strong, dynamic. Just both each individually are a handful, and then they have this guy underneath it who's one of the best players in the league, and he's distributing and he's getting on the ball. And by the way, sometimes you got to make sure he doesn't get to line up shots from distance, so you got to be organizing who's stepping out and how you're getting to it. So I think there's a lot of just individual duels in there, and then a lot of decision making inside of it, because you just have the numbers that you have up on you all the time is a different scenario. So again, I thought, in general, I thought he managed things well. We'll look back at all the specific moments, but I thought, again, it's not an easy task, and I thought he did a nice job. As far as Harbor, again, I think he plays with a lot of maturity and confidence, and he especially on the attacking side, his ability to just kind of got us out of situations. He's confident when he's on the dribble and moving with the ball, not just standing and passing. And so he's playing kind of this hybrid role for us, which is at times like a winger, and at times he's defending low like a fullback. But we added a layer tonight where he was actually coming inside a little bit more, and he was adding the overload into the middle of the field, which I felt like he handled pretty well as well. So he's a good soccer player. So he's played different positions coming through the academy. So he's comfortable around the field. He's comfortable with both feet. And he's a kid with a lot of confidence. So, I thought he's handling the situation well. Like this is a team with a lot of mature players and a lot of quality out on the field. And again, they set up a little bit different than some of the teams we've been seeing lately. So sometimes the tasks and the references are just a little different. But I thought both of them, they handled the game well.
Greg, on Isaiah and picking up the second yellow card right there at the start of the second half, does he need to be more careful there? Is that a little bit of two soft yellows and sort of a red card there? What did you see from it?
Yeah, I think probably on both of them they were difficult ones, because I think the first one on the entry pass wasn't so easy to deal with, and he ends up kind of lunging to deal with it. Now he's off balance. Now he feels like he's got to try to make a play. Takes the first yellow. The second one, it's a tough one. I think the player sells it a little bit. Like, I don't think he really goes. He doesn't slide. He kind of goes in. He doesn't really stomp him. But I do think as you're seeing that, if you know you're on a yellow, you probably want to try to hold your ground a little bit more and maybe not end up in it. So, but I think he was put in two difficult situations and came out on the wrong side of each of them. So.
And then how you guys play in the second half. Doesn't seem like you look like you were down a man. What do you take from that?
I think, with the ball, I think the mobility of our group and the ability for guys to move through different spaces and the way guys just moved for each other, I thought was really good. They have a couple guys who don't love to defend through large stretches of the defending aspect. They might give initial effort, but maybe not the second or third effort. So if you can get beyond those players and players can remain available after that, then I think you can deal with the being down a number. The problem is when you do get beyond it, they'll leave guys high who are hanging out for the transition, which is something that we had to deal with all game. I felt like they were comfortable trying to leave 3-4 guys out of the defending effort at times, and seeing if we could hurt them, and if not, seeing if they could catch us going the other way. So, but I thought, again, the mobility of our guys, Mickey being able to go inside, outside, Gabe inside, outside, Joe's ability to run away. I just feel like because of the fluidity of our group, but also everybody's a little bit is comfortable on the ball and was moving, that I think the guys just did a good job of finding spaces and moving for each other. And then getting the ball to Gabe, getting the ball to Joe in positions and driving us forward. So I think that took care of the man down. Defensively, it's a tougher task. Anytime we stepped out the press, they pretty much broke through it. And then it's a recovery. In the second half, we dealt with a lot of things kind of around the top of our box. Once we got down into that lower block, I think we did a pretty good job of blocking some things and digging some balls out, stuff like that. And then, again, we were able to get out of that and then get into some attacking situations. So I just think a ton of effort by the guys to remain available and just to work for each other through the second half was a big part of it.
Hey, Greg. Kind of a mixed bag from Mitrovic. Feels like he could have done a little more on the first goal, and obviously got some really key saves throughout the match. What would you say to his performance tonight?
Yeah, I would say, similar. I thought he made some huge saves, some really big saves, again, just to keep the score in a position where we could feel like we could keep chasing it and going for it. I think for me, some of his kicking through the course of the game just wasn't where we had talked about trying to find. We were hitting balls all over the shop, and he's better than that and with his feet, and so I think him being a little more targeted about where we were trying to play those longer balls would have been part of it. I have to see the first goal again to have a real opinion on some of that, but again, I think in some of these games he grows into the game as the game goes, and I think he needs to start strong and finish the whole game. So maybe that's part of the maturity for him. But I feel like if we get behind, he makes big saves, but we need to also do that when we're even or up or those kinds of things. Those become big moments for goalkeepers.
Any other questions?
That's it. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much, Greg.
Appreciate it.